Hello world and welcome back to Bazgoth, the Crimson Blade. I think we are actually on episode 54, if I'm correct. We are moving along. Episode 54, can we make it to 100? Who knows? We shall see. We shall see if the party survives now that they have entered into the higher levels of gameplay in the world of Solar. But finally, last we left off, we were able to see Silent saved Grom after so many months of journeying and going through many perils and different difficulties of trying to find her, but through the help of the goddess of death, and then finally recruiting his old group and maybe some new faces, he was able to return to the Nine Hells, did a few battles, went through a few challenges, but in the last session, he was able to finally, while almost dying, was able to finally rescue Silent, his main focus, and has been on his mind for quite a while, though it was a bittersweet, since he also saw an old friend, the first one that had ever started him on his quest. But not only did he see some old friends, or at least an old face, but also Grumthar had also witnessed someone he cared for, and saw her lowered into the fires as well. Something that's probably raking upon his mind as he questioned somewhat Grom's motives as he stepped through a portal to save Silent. But it was Grumthar who actually tore the chains, the infernal chains from Silent, and was able to at least throw her on top of Shiv for a while before Tarnik called Shiv back, and both Narzag and Silent were left. But it all worked out. And this is where we are. They returned back to the Naked Maidens. 6 minutes only passing. Retcon from the last time. Else I made a mistake and thought it was 2 days. And then everyone decided to, well, at least Cobb and Grom, caring for Silent, decided to leave to the top floors and put Silent to rest, and so she could at least sleep and hopefully wake up. No one knows in what manner she will wake up. And then Gromthar and Volsa and Saz were left at the tables in the lower floor of the tavern, deciding and conversing amongst themselves. Volsa, of course, saying that she didn't really know about all this, and needed a little bit of time to think, and disappeared into the shadows to, or at least to go find shadows, because she was also tired. And of course, Tarnik and Narzag decided to go to the Sad Dog Taverns, but Tarnik visited the temple first, the Temple of Arya, but interestingly enough, called for Vilra, and had a conversation with Vilra, trying to figure out what was going on with some confusion that he had. But now, with all that said, in the end outcome, the important thing is that they all were able to come back from the hells, and at least maybe a party member has returned. Let's see here. And with that, what is left now is the future. What will they do now? And what path will they choose? That they actually have multiple options. But we're going to start with Cub and Grom first, as we linger into the room and everybody's resting, of course, exhausted, especially Grom, who has been traveling for what seems years more to him than just months that's been outside.
Yeah, I think Grom is. I think he is. I kind of want to make a check and see. The Bagorda thing has the potential to mess with him, but otherwise, he's probably in very good mood, but tired. Maybe I'll roll. GM, what do you think? Maybe like a wisdom save or something. I think there's a danger that the Bagorda thing is fucking with him a little bit.
Yeah, I would say a wisdom DC probably 17.
All right, here we go. I fumbled. Oh. All right. So
yes, I would say that while he was sleeping, probably a deep sleep, he would start drifting off into the deeper darkness of that REM sleep, and actually vividly start seeing the face. The guilt, possibly, or at least some sort of lingering effect of her being left behind, attached to him, scraping at his mind, still pulling at his emotions, and he can see almost a distorted face of her as she was pulled or dropped into the fires. But he sees this constantly through the night and hears her voice asking why is something that he first actually went on this entire journey. Is one of the deciding factors that made him be what he was in the first version of himself as Grom before all this was silent. So this is what he would be turning over at night.
Yeah, I mean, he's just going to try to get a full night's rest, and if he wakes up at all, he's going to like check on, Silence, medical care. But at this point, he would feel that Cub is far more qualified to handle that, so he would be more resting and just asking Cub, "Can I do anything? Cub is far more qualified. You need." I think he would almost be like hoping Cub says yes because he just wants to help somehow.
It's like I would probably be like, I will let you know if I need any assistance. Let me finish my examination.
Like Grom would say, "Okay," and he would kind of turn, but I don't know if Cub would see, but he would literally have like tears going on his face from just the crushing guilt of leaving Bagorda, and he's just like, he's just gonna try to sleep in the chair, facing away from Cub so Cub doesn't see his immense sadness. I feel like he is just in mental anguish from that fumbled wisdom save about the guilt. Yeah. That's about it for Grom. He's just gonna try to sleep.
So,
Alright. And Cub.
I'm doing. Oh, I don't think it got displayed.
Yeah, I saw enhance ability. Is that what you were doing?
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that.
I was like, I don't think it got displayed in the.
Yeah.
Okay, there it is.
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm doing that one. And the wisdom perspective.
Okay.
So, and that will go ahead. Doing my medicine check. A 28.
28. And I'm assuming while you're doing this while Grom is sleeping. And of
Yeah.
course, Silent is also asleep. So as this
Yeah.
is happening, you, with that check right there, you do. When last we left off, both you and Grom had noticed that there was a certain light that weaved itself around her body and gave her more of a tangible look to her. And you can see now that the skin is fully more tangible, of course, has that mortal-like feel to it and look to it. Her hair is back to where, when you grabbed her from the hells, it was almost like just washed out, desaturated, but it has that golden sheen to it. Though you do also remember her from when you first met her, there is still something different now. It seems that there is some change to it. Even the hair has a little bit more of a glistening to it. And you do feel, as you are examining her, a sense of slight divine magic pulsating. You're not quite sure. And as you are examining, it takes you some time, as Grom is probably snoring now or deep in breathing heavy. But you start to feel some sort of power emanating. And it actually seems to, as you examine, kind of reach out to you and almost weave itself around you. You don't see anything. You can't tangibly see anything, but you feel it just kind of linger around you. And for everyone else, because this is going to be still tied, everybody else roll me a perception check. And just let me know.
Everybody else?
Yeah, everyone that's not here, roll me a perception.
Does this include Grom?
Grom, yeah, go. Yeah, it actually would still.
Okay.
Myself as well, or no?
No. You're already there.
Okay.
Sauce is like, oh,
Nat 20.
wow.
Woo!
Okay. It's a 18, 23, 6. And Narzag? Uh-oh. Did we lose you, Narzag?
Can you hear me?
Oh, there we go. All
There
right,
you are.
rolled a 25. Dang. Got some pretty high rolls. Yup, pretty perceptive. All right. Cub, as you feel this, Grom, you are trying to sleep as well. And just for the sake of different timing, like I said, Cub, this is happening while everybody's doing their things, resting. But at whatever time this is, everybody else who rolled high perception would also start feeling, because you all have your own individual scenes here, but Grumthar, in whatever time that you are that this is happening, I'll say that you also feel some sort of strange sense, and you don't actually know what this is. You just know that it's completely different from whatever you felt. It's not malice in a sense either. It feels, the best word I could assign to it is mainly a cooling, kind of comfort feel, almost motherly feel, if Grumthar would understand that. Those are the words that I would say come close to what it would feel like, and you don't know what it is. So Grum,
or where it's coming from.
Yeah, you don't know where it's coming from. You just feel it. It seems to
Okay, and
permeate.
Also, I don't know where we're all at, right? When we left, it was late and we were all headed to bed. And we recon, and it was just in the morning. Are we still all headed to bed?
I think so, yeah, because you had the 2 days. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Y'all just, yeah. That's what The only difference
And
would be
so,
is the time, because you were downstairs and you were about to head to bed and have Ashara.
yeah, right.
Yeah.
Am I alone? I guess is what I'm wondering.
Oh,
I
would say, because if this has already happened a little bit after that, I would say that you're with Ashara.
Yeah. And so she might have sensed that as well then. Through me?
Yeah, she would have sensed that, which in your scene we're going to actually focus on that when she feels
Yeah. Okay.
But yes, Grumthar would probably have noticed something that Ashara, depending on what they're in, what part of the scene they're in, that would notice that.
Yeah.
And
well, so when we have my scene, just tell me when that comes up, okay?
Okay, sounds good. And as far as Saw is just about the only one who doesn't feel it. I wasn't sure where Sauce was going to go, but I guess at this point he wouldn't feel it. I don't know if he was going to a room as well, or if he was going to go outside, because it would have been not nighttime, it would have been daytime. So
I'm assuming everyone's plan is to try and rest, considering everything that just happened, yes?
Yeah, because you have 2 days without rest so far.
Then after the conversation Saz just had with Grumthar and Volza, he'd probably head up to the room, but he wouldn't immediately go to sleep.
Perfect. All right, I'm going to just put you there. And then, as far as also Narzag, depending, did you want to sleep in a room or were you going to sleep outside? Because either way, you can bring your in for this particular one. Oh, did I lose you again?
Can you hear me?
There we go. Now I can.
I said if I'm given a room to sleep in, I'm going to sleep in the room. But if I have to sleep in the wild, I'm going to sleep in the wild.
Yeah. If you got a room in the Sad Dog Tavern, yeah, they don't mind with the animal, so you can sleep in the room. But you would also feel the same sense, depending on the synchronization of the time, whatever time it is. I'm going to say that you also feel a sense. You don't know where it's coming from, but it's not malice, and it's more comforting and alleviating in a sense too. But you don't know why.
My character's confused, considering I lived on the streets most of my life. I was abandoned. So, what is a mother?
Okay, well then, well he wouldn't technically think of it as the player level. The word I'm saying is it would feel something like that. He probably would be confused because he wouldn't know it, but yeah, it just feels. It doesn't feel maliceful to you. Is what you're feeling. It feels more. If he could put it in a simple term, like a good way, is what he feels.
Melithar is with me always.
Yes. And then Tarnik, you as well, depending on what point in time that we.
Well, I sort of figured that he would be close to the temple, but when this thing happened, but he hadn't entered it yet.
Okay.
So the feeling would join into his general state of confusion at the moment.
Excellent. Okay. And Cub, jumping back to you, you feel this, you sense it, and it seems to just attach to you somehow. But you feel it even more. You feel this sense of alleviation toward this exhaustion that you may have. You sense a sort of, you are so close to Silent right now, you actually feel completely rested, and then your character is completely rested and has all the benefits of a long rest without even resting, as you feel this swirl around you, encasing you almost like a protective feeling. And as this is happening, the only thing that you will sense, though, you can feel, if you wanted to, and this would be a choice, there's a serenity to it. But there's also much more, as you're sensing, that you could probably push to try to break through. You feel it somehow, you're not sure how, but there is a sense that you can break through a wall that's probably being protected in a way. But you can try with another medicine check if you wish to break through. You're not sure what it will do, but you know that there's something being hidden. But that is up to Cub of what she wishes to do. If he wishes to push this further and try to figure out what that might be, or just keep...
But I sense it, right, though?
Yeah.
So I'm gonna go ahead and push it, but before I do that, I'm gonna like shout to Grom.
Okay.
I'm like, Grom, wake up.
Grom, just because you had a high perception and you also feel this, so before the voice of Cub hits you, you sensed another not dream, but more of a nightmare clawing at your mind. It seems that this thing is not letting you go. It's so fresh in your mind. But suddenly, you feel an aura, some presence pushing back on this nightmare. You don't know what it is. It feels so foreign to you, but at the same time, opening, like it wants to embrace you in some sort of, the best word for you in simple terms would be goodness. And it alleviates this sense of guilt or this dream that wants to push this exhaustion of the mind on you. And then slowly you hear a small whisper, Cub. And you hear the words behind there, very soft. And then you realize it's the voice of Cub, just pushing into you. And then whatever Cub is saying finally hits you. And you realize that in the real world, Cub is talking to you.
So, do I take that to mean he kind of feels a tad bit better? A little bit. Like from the nightmare stuff and the guilt?
Yes, whatever presence this is, you're not sure what it is, but yes. It feels a little bit better, alleviated a bit.
What is it? What can I do? He's gonna walk over there.
It's like, do you have any more of your musical inspirations?
Ooh, yes. Grom is obviously very exhausted. However, he's going to burn a first level spell slot, and I can produce a bardic inspiration. Does Cub need it? Is that what he needs?
Yes.
Grom is going to begin to. He's going to pull out his viol and he's going to play a very haunting tune as he gives Cub a bardic inspiration.
So, and that's a what, 1d10?
Yes, it is a 1d10.
Okay. So with the bardic inspiration and still with my enhanceability, I get the advantage. So the highest is 17, and then with 1d10.
1d10, yeah.
Ooh, beautiful. 17, 24 medicine check.
Oh gosh, okay. And with that, you decide to go ahead and push forward. Grom, you can roll me a perception.
Perception, here we go.
If you
Now, Grom would be very involved in playing the song, trying to give Cub all the inspiration possible. Would that affect my perception at all?
No, it's because it's going to go more on feeling, so yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
So
I rolled a 23.
Wow. So as you do play the, what is it that you're playing? The instrument again? Sorry.
The viol.
So as you play the viol, and you walked next to the bed, you do feel this presence strengthen. It grows stronger, and you realize that, this presence that you might have felt in your dream might actually be something dealing with Silent as you walk closer. And then, Cub, you push forward. As you push forward on this sense of protection and alleviation, a sense of divine goodness that is there, you start piercing through it, pushing away the veil, and visions, actually, as you are imagining or feeling this, visions actually start taking form in your mind. And as this is happening, you start to feel something else now. The sense of this presence is starting to dwindle away. And as this starts to dwindle away, you feel that it's no longer a place that might be this divine essence that you were feeling. You start to sense a darkness. You can barely feel it. You're touching the edge of it. So this will require another medicine check. Do you want to keep going further on it or stop? You feel that if you push further, there might be some effects. There might be some danger that might actually start affecting you. Grom, as you're playing the viol, with the tempo of the viol, as you're feeling this, you almost feel now that the tempo is going up and down with the music. Sometimes you quicken the tempo, but you're actually doing it almost unsure how, because you start to sense a wavering. And everybody else who is feeling this, except for Sauce, there seems to be some sort of strangeness to the feeling that you had. But for Grom, you are so close, you sense more of this darkness, basically. More, the idea of malice actually starts to form. But then it's also jumping up and down with this sense of divine goodness. But that's what you feel. Cub, that's your choice. If you wish to push now, it could technically affect you.
If I break through it, how will it affect me? Like negatively on my check or depending on the check?
It depends on the check, but you don't know how it will affect you. You just think something is going to happen, and you can feel somehow you might be affected, but you don't know exactly the details of it. There's no way of knowing it. It's something that you would have to do. You can either go forward or back off.
It's like, all right. How much more can he do for me, Grom?
Grom could give you another bardic inspiration for sure.
Yeah, let's go one more time. I feel like
I need to burn spell slots to give bardic inspiration. I mean, I don't have unlimited, but I still have some.
okay. I feel like this is a good. This is kind of like another like me or it's like another version of my awakening. So I feel like if I pursue further, I might trigger something good out of this. So I definitely would like to have this.
Are you kind of giving Grom a sense of this in game?
This this is like Cub thinking inside. It's like he sees that whatever's happening that's bad, I can cleanse it. And if I find a way to cleanse it, it would chime into something good. Because Cub went through this process for himself.
Grom,
Like he hasn't told you about it yet, but out of his personal experience of what he did for himself, he feels like if he were to go ahead and provide this aid, support of removing this negativity or whatever that's afflicting, or that I'm sensing this negativity, if I were to cleanse it, it's gonna have something good out of it.
Grom is going to play. He's going to switch gears, and he's going to play something older. He's going to play an old gypsy tune about something like about death and healing, but hailing back to his days traveling with the gypsies.
Ooh, nice. All right.
I don't know if
I'm gonna go with that medicine check itself.
Yeah, but you have a D10 Bardic Inspiration.
Okay. And of course my thing as well. Ooh, that's a crit.
Oh God, really? Okay.
I got a crit. So with that 29, and then that's basically 32 altogether.
32. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Holy cow. All right. Well, with a 32, you are able to pierce whatever veil this is that's what's lingering. You sense invisibly within your mind, and you push through. You sense that there is some sort of force that tries to attack you. But because of that roll, it's not attacking in the sense that it's being a maliceful attack. It's attacking for a protection. It seems that something is trying to protect whatever is on the other side. But you are able to break through, and you feel if this protection would have been able to lash out at you, it would have been pretty harmful. But as you break through, vision become much more tangible, much more solidified, and you see almost the entirety of the world, the globe. You see what looks like possibly divine magic. You can tell from maps that have been drawn the idea of continents as you start zooming closer past the atmosphere, and closer, you're falling suddenly, and you're going past the clouds as they zoom past you, and the arc of this globe starts to become flat, and the wind starts just blasting into your face, and you don't know how you're going to stop, but the ground is now zooming faster up into you. The ground is coming up so quickly, and then suddenly you see divine energy being released everywhere. You see a forest, and in this forest there is some great tree. But the tree is great, you can see it because it has silver, almost lining, and gold within its bark. Small flakes of gold within its bark, like veins. But next to it, you see a creature, an enormous creature. You can't tell if it was 100 or 300 feet tall, black, dark, inky skin, large teeth, large tail. You sense an immense evil. Everywhere that it's walking on, you can see that plant life is dying. But you see a different entity there, an entity of pure light. It's almost the opposite, like the idea of two extremes coming to battle. You see, it's a female. This female is covered in what looks like actual life of plants, leaves, But she's radiating such power, she almost looks a blindingly bright light, white. And the hair of pure silver seems to just also be just light. Silver light emanating in different waves. And you can't really tell because it's distorted here, the power you sense. And you see it, this creature rush. It's a great battle that's happening. As you finally land on the ground, you feel this enormous disease just surrounding you, this enormous amount of power and evil disease seeping into your skin. You can see the battle. This creature, and you're gonna roll me a wisdom saving throw, and let me know what you roll.
Okay.
And then for everybody else, I'm actually going to have everybody else, including Grom. Yours is going to be a different DC, but everybody else roll me a Constitution save that was able to perceive this feeling. And let me know what you roll. God.
I got a 27.
Ah, Tarnik got a 13.
Grum got a 17.
Grumthor actually got a 29.
Anything to do with being charmed?
It doesn't have to do anything with being charmed. However, as y'all are resting,
21.
the only people...
I dare say Nazag would have got +5 on that, being close to Tarnik in the Sad Dog Tavern.
Oh, so I got a 26. Sorry.
So that means... so Tarnik and Grom. Saz, just because you didn't feel anything, you would be safe. You're just kind of lingering in your own way, oblivious to things right now. However, for Tarnik and Grom, you're actually have 3 of these that happen. You take 14 damage, and it's psychic damage that actually is more centered toward physically hurting your body for some unknown reason. So on this aspect, because you take so much damage, are you going to keep playing or will you stop playing?
I don't know I don't know how much health I had. I was in death saving throws, and then I never marked down having gotten any more.
Cub healed you for quite a bit.
Yeah, I did.
Do you happen to remember how much roughly it was?
I think 25 and 35?
Somewhere around there. I remember
27 and 35. I remembered it was like...
Gotcha. Okay. So I'm very near full health. Okay, so if I take 14, I mean, am I seeing any visions?
You're not seeing anything. You just suddenly feel this grasp of power in your mind, but it just physically thrashes out through your entire body and physically hurts your body mentally. You're not sure how it does it, but you feel that it comes from this presence, that whatever you're feeling. And because you're so close to Silent, you feel it closer. And I would assume Cub, it has his eyes closed, or how is Cub, I guess, standing, sitting, or...
I'm kind of like kneeling or like in a prayer stance, but like my hands are literally I would be in like in a prayer stance or like one like the standard like on your knees prayer stance or so, but my hands are gonna be like literally I have like one hand holding like or checking like Silent's head for like a fever, and then the my other hand is like on her by like her heart itself.
Okay.
So and like
Grom, you would see that there is some sweat coming from Cub. Would his eyes be closed then? Cub's eyes are closed, I think.
In this case, it's more like my eye or like. Yeah. Yes.
Okay. So if they are closed, then you would see that Cub is also seems to also be in his own world because he seems to be there but yet not there. But there is sweating, profuse sweating coming from him now. And but yeah, Grom, you would feel this, but you don't know from where. But you do sense that it's probably lingering from Silent and whatever's happening. And as for everybody else, that would be Tarnik. I guess it's the only other one. Yeah, because Sauce didn't feel they could be good or bad, but Tarnik, you would have taken damage
27.
of 4 psychic, and it would be thrashed through your entire body. And so this is even more confusing, as you don't know where it's coming from. First, you feel this essence of divine goodness, and then all of a sudden it turns into some sort of malice. But you feel it pulsating between both good and bad. I'm not quite sure what to think of it. Grumthar absolutely feels nothing. He's good. He's with Ashara right now. Ashara probably feels something. But for now, we're going to go back to Cub. Oh, but before then, does Grom do anything? Is he going to continue playing? Or will he stop?
He is. If he gets the sense that this is something going on with Cub and Silent, he's just going to grit his teeth and keep on playing.
Okay. When you keep on playing, you notice that as you are playing, whatever this presence is, actually is being affected by you playing. But the problem is you're not sure if it's going to be more harmful or be good. Knowing this, though, it's still his decision. Do you still decide to keep playing, or would you stop?
Yeah, I mean, so Grom would have a very fundamental belief that the power of music is healing. So he would think it could not at all be hurt by continuing to play. It could only produce better results. So he's going to keep playing.
As he keeps playing, Cub, you begin to see this creature moving toward this divine entity, whatever this divine entity is. You've never seen this divine entity. Without having to think and go back into your mind, you're pretty sure you've never seen this entity before. Doesn't look like if he had seen any kind of idea, statues, pictures of all the current entities, the gods and such. This one is something that is unbeknown to him. This creature, though, roars so loudly that the roar actually, you can feel it rattle your bones because you made such a high wisdom save. You are quite fine. You seem to be able to shake it off. However, this roar has a completely different effect than whatever this divine being is. You see this divine being's eyes widen with fear. And you see the power of divine magic completely seep and sip away. And her body begins to shrink as the magic leaves and is torn away, and she screams so loudly. And then you notice that there were actually other creatures around with wings. And you see them also fall and drop to the ground, slamming, thumping everywhere around you. And then, as this divine entity keeps screaming, suddenly it is the size of a mortal. No power, nothing. And she looks up, tries to move her hands as if throwing some sort of power at this creature, but she has nothing left. You suddenly see the despair and the realization in her face as she looks over, and this creature slams a large clawed hand down on her, grabs her. She starts to push away, trying to scream, and you could almost see, if you roll me a perception check, let me know what you roll.
Okay. Sweet. Since it still follows my enhanceability wisdom, I get advantage. So that's going to be 23.
23, you do notice that there is slight features that you could recognize. It's different somehow, but you see it in the eyes. You see Silen's eyes in this image. The face is different somehow, but yet the same in certain features. Not completely the same features as Silent, but the eyes, you can see it in the eyes, and you also see this terror in the eyes. Terror that you quite know well from Silent because of the troubles that she's been through. And you see this creature pull this divine entity. He opens his gaping maw and then throws her into his mouth and then chomps down. And you can hear her scream as you also hear the shattering and crunching of bones and then the gurgling voice of this divine god completely smothered and everything goes silent. And then you hear all these winged beings scream with such anguish. And then you see this tree, this divine tree. It's not large, maybe 100 compared to other trees, 100 feet tall. But you see the dimming of its silver and gold veins within the bark. They just start to diminish. And this thing just lets out a roar. And at this point, this roar throws you back. Throws you, and it's like pushing you back against the veil. It seems to be trying to crack and break into whatever ability you have that you are seeing this. So this is up to Cub. You know that you might start actually being hurt if you linger. But as you see this, you also understand that there's some sort of essence that's letting you know, somehow, some way, if you are able to use certain spells, you might be able to erase this, whatever this is. Or it might get you noticed. You sense that whatever it is, if you try to do this, you have a great possibility of actually possibly being hurt to an extent that you might die here. But this is Cub's choice. Is he going to allow himself to be pushed away from the roar, or is he going to remain and try to do something?
You're saying that since you said I got a full rest, everything's back restored, I want to go ahead and see. Will I be able to see if this is like some kind of ailment, affliction, or so?
Because you've been rolling with these high medicine, you know it's not an affliction, but it's more of some sort of, well, it could be. It could fall under an affliction. It's some sort of residual. It's almost similar to maybe what Grom is feeling from what he saw, maybe even from what Gromthar is feeling, that residual energy. But this is not from the Hells. This is something that possibly happened. You see it that's attached, and it's the best way that Cub would probably recognize this is because the high rolls that he did. Maybe lingering somewhere in a memory that has been closed off somehow. By destroying this memory, you're not sure if it's going to hinder or aid Silent. That's the only thing you don't know.
Yeah. Because I want to say, part of me is thinking I have two things that I can do, or possibly maybe three. Is I have the Greater Restoration spell. If it was like some kind of curse or so, whatever, I want to use it and restore it and try to remove whatever that was afflicted her. You know?
Yeah.
And then if I do get detected, I can make a run for it because I have invisibility. Because of my ability as a Dwegar, I have the invisibility spell, so I can always escape undetected, at least, as long as it doesn't have magical sight on me or so. You know what I mean?
I will say
So, like,
that everything that Cobb knows, he just kind of knows right now. I would say that this ultimate decision is going to be his, without giving anything else out, unfortunately, for this particular scenario.
So, like, I just want to, I was like, I'm just trying to figure out, it's like I'm trying to decipher, is this one worthy of where I can just cast my Greater Restoration, remove this type of fragment of that's harming her, if that will provide that effect to remove. I was like, that's what I want to know. I was like, I guess you could say maybe I could run like an Arcana check or so, right?
I would say you can try to see run an Arcana check and see if maybe you might be able to decipher anything else.
Okay, let me do that. Let me see if I can decipher it, if it follows under where I can be able to restore it with my Greater Restoration. That is cocked. I don't know why it just goes and gives me 1. It was like literally in between a 13 and a 1. And it just wanted like, okay, we'll just give you a 1.
Yeah, I would say, unfortunately, with that, yes, it still falls under. You just do not know. You just do not know. All you do know is that it will be affected somehow, but you just don't know the effect. But it is pushing you further out, though. So at this point, you would only have maybe another minute to decide what you wish to do.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and make him break for this. I'm going to go ahead and... Like, how far do I have to get close to it to? Because the Greater Restoration has to be done by touch. So how far do I have to get to it?
This one I will say that you know that if you cast a spell, it seems that you already, because you're outside of what this vision is, you're touching Silent.
Yeah.
You don't have to necessarily get close to this creature, because this creature is, if he notices you, he's definitely, he's going to come to you.
Okay, so then I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna chance it out. This is like a make or break. I want to. This is my way of like of redeeming myself of like as a healer itself and everything. So I'm gonna like do one silent prayer, and I'm gonna ask for Zotia to grant me all of her strength to make sure that this spell or my attempt of this healing helps. And once I do, I'm going to make a break, or once I get detected, I'm going to make a run for it. I'm going to get out of this whatever loop that or this mind spell that I am, and I'm just going to make a run for it.
All right.
And if I have to, I will go invisibility to keep myself from detected.
All right.
So I'm casting there you go. There's the form of me casting my Greater Restoration.
Oh, okay. Wow, okay. So with that... Is that a new one? I don't remember the curse.
A curse including a target's attunement to a cursed magic item. It could be either if it's a curse item or whatever curse that they're given, or so. Or kind of like what's it? The wolf.
Yeah.
The werewolf fight. That's part of a curse affliction.
I didn't know it dealt with curses. Okay. Well, so as you cast that, because you're already touching Silent, the thing does. Well, you do garner its attention, but as you finish the spell seems to release this divine energy from your own goddess, and Grom, you would, as you are playing and keeping tempo with this feeling and pulsation, and everybody else who was able to feel this, except for Saz, of course, you feel this tempo going back and forth somehow. But then, Grom, you would see Silent as she's sleeping suddenly, like almost arch her back as a deep breath is sucked in as her mouth opens, and she and you see energy just emanate from Cub. You've never seen this before, but it's actual light energy. And it engulfs her almost in like a cocoon so quickly, you ask yourself, did that actually happen? Was there bright light here, or was it my imagination? And then she falls back, and you see her body relax. It seemed, even though she was sleeping, it seemed tense, but now it relaxes. And with that, we're actually going to jump over to Mr. Grumthar. Before all this happens, we're going to jump to you. And yes, last we left off, you were actually going to go to a room and find
as
you.
typical. The last time, and he would do it again. He would ask for a bath. He certainly. I think they even said he smells of the hells, right?
Yes.
So and so he would have started with a bath, and again he would be crawling. He would be meditating on the edge of his bed, waiting for Ashara to join him.
All right. So at this, you would have taken the bath, and they would have readied it all for you, and then you would have waited for Ashara. Been like a good, probably even 20 minutes worth of bath time, just because the water felt so well.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually going and waiting, and it takes another good hour because it's during the day. Ashara usually shows up during the night, but she does eventually appear and come into the room, and we're going to put you into the room. And yes, she would have walked in, and what happened to my notes here? So as she walks in, she actually doesn't say a word. See, she just moves over and actually will sit by the side of the bed with Grumthar. Doesn't say anything. And while she's sitting at the side of the bed, what would Grumthar look like? What is his body reading? Is he tense? Is he relaxed in the bath? Is he...
No, well, my vision is that he's crawled out of the bath. He's not wearing. He just has a sheet over him, if anything, and his eyes are closed. And this is very common for him to get in this. I think of it, his fingers together in kind of a monkish type of prayer, meditative state. But he is absolutely tense. His fingernails are probably white from pressing his fingers so hard as he tries to sort out all the emotions from these 2 days of hell, and all the between Selah and Silent and the criticism of his leadership and this departure of the path and he what seems like just a few hours ago to Ashara, 2 days worth of this going on with Grumthar. Grumthar thought he had this all figured out 2 days. He had let Selah go and was moving forward in a new path that he was deciding for himself. And all these things are running through his head as he's trying. Yes, he had the bath. Yes, that was calming, and it puts him in. It gives him even this ability to sit here in the state he is as he tries to sort through these feelings again. So yeah, that's what's going through his head. Does that answer your question?
Yes, perfectly. So yes, she's going. She doesn't say a word. She just enters and she watches. Probably feels this sense of being watched. He can sense her in. He's known now who she is, and you feel the bed and the weight of her, and you can feel her essence and presence. And she just sits there quietly for maybe a couple of minutes, and then finally, and a word says, "Lay down." She says, "All the way back." And she says it in a way that she's saying it in a way as if you can sense in her tone that she understands. Possibly she understands that maybe someone has forgotten how their own body works. So it's more of a matter of fact.
So Grumthar's there, and right, it probably takes him a full minute to he hears it, and she would know he hears it, and he's working to comply as he takes long, deep breaths before he slowly, pushes himself back in the bed and lowers his head to the cushions, to the pillows.
And she'll say,
clenching his teeth, his fingers pinched.
Says, "You're still in it. I can see it in every part of you." And she says, "You came back through the portals hours ago, but your body hasn't caught up yet." And she says, "I know the hells. That is normal. That is what the hells do. They don't let go of you cleanly." And she actually helps him to the bed, sliding his body down into the bed slowly, comfortably. You feel her hands are very interesting. You're not sure that maybe she might be using some sort of succubi powers, but they are soothing. Wherever she touches, you can feel the tingling sensation of the muscles loosening as she starts working on his shoulders. And she actually stays to the side, not head on or anything. She just begins at the shoulders, and usually, probably from what she knows, is where tension lives for most warriors. And then she will ask you is, when did you last breathe all the way down?
And I think you know the answer to that question.
And then she presses more pressure on the shoulders, and you can feel them. She's kneaded them, and the tension and stress is still there, but it's slowly cracking. Small little cracks. It says, "Your body thinks it's still fighting. We need to tell it that it's done for the night." And then she'll keep on working for a moment. And then after a few minutes, she doesn't say anything unless Grumthar says anything, but she keeps working, and he'll feel the cracks of that tension finally breaking through, slowly, surely. The shields of those pressures of evil tension from the hells that still clung on start falling apart. It seems that she knows what she's doing. And if he doesn't say anything, she's going to say, "I'm going to ask you something, and it will feel strange. I want you to name 5 things you can feel right now. Not in the hells, but in this room with me."
Again, you're dead on, right? He is stuck there in this almost PTSD, right? Post-traumatic, after seeing Selah and letting her go. And it's, Tension. And with 5 things that I sense in this room. I sense the heat of your body. And he's already set the tension of her. And as he struggles to sort through what can he focus on, that's 2. That's he's amazed he came up with those 2. Because all he feels is the anguish, the frustration.
Says, good.
What do I feel?
Keep going.
Yeah, and me as a player, I'm struggling to feel. I sense the bed under me, giving me stability.
Yes.
Softness.
And then she'll actually move her own hands down to his hands. And she grabs them and says, do you feel that? As she starts kneading his palms.
Yeah. I feel it's very slight, tender. It's like a feather falling on my shoulder.
And she says,
amongst the stress.
Says, that is good. Know that you are here with me. Your body must realize that it's not in the hells, not any longer. The mind must realize this, but there is where the challenge lies. And she will, before she pushes further, she's going to keep using her hands to ease that tension, and eventually to the point where you can have Grom roll me a Constitution check, and it's going to be an 18 DC. And because she's helping, you can actually roll it with an advantage.
Well, I think I got it in the first one, but if it needs to be better.
Go for better. Nothing wrong with that.
I'll stick with the 23.
Yes. So the 23. So she actually does really good work, and you can feel now the physical stress is gone. And because of this, even the lingering wisps of some of the tension is gone. It's only wisps of it, but the wisps of the mind and the stress of the mind. But they're not as great.
I want to interject here a little
Go
bit.
ahead.
One thing that continues in my mind for Grumthar is this sensation. He knows that devils are consummate liars, masters of deception. And one hope that he grasps on is that it wasn't real, right? That he part of him just hopes or wants to believe that wasn't really Selah, that the devils have the capacity to fool him. So that is a thing he's wrestling.
So I would say that she would actually, Ishara would sense this, and she would say, there it is. Whatever just came up, let it. Don't push it back down. You've been holding it since you stepped through the portal, and that is exhausting you. You don't have to say it out loud, but don't fight it either. She still keeps kneading and massaging his muscles, trying to get that stress away. But after she says that, and she's able to at least anchor on to something, because she didn't say it out loud, but she was able to anchor on to something. Would Grumthar do anything after she says that, or keep letting her do what she's doing?
What do I do with it now, then? I accept the reality that it may or may not be true. But how do I deal with it? I was at peace just so 2 days ago. I was at peace, ready to move on, feeling I had the permission And now this devil throws Sail in my face. This concept of returning to the hells to save the ones you love. Grom threw this in my face. I had this reality that she may not be lost. Do I accept her death, that she is gone forever? Just Sailing right here amongst us says that may not be the case. There may be hope to save her. But yet I'd moved on. Was it real?
And as he's doing this, she just keeps on massaging, and she looks over and says, yes, that part right there. What you suffer through. Making peace with that is not going to be easy, but I will say, unfortunately, this is what you saw. Because she only got fragments of it, so she's guessing at this part. If this is what you saw, infernal law, though devils can be conniving, and they can trick, they do not usually trick in the way the demons do. I believe that whatever you saw, and take this, it may be painful, but it may have been real. Is there hope? It's up to you. You made peace that she was gone, but then you saw reality it might be the where she was. The peace of it is that you are suffering because you couldn't do anything to stop it after you had thought that she was maybe somewhere else. That is not something that can be put to ease in one night. I do not even have the power to do that. Devils do have contracts. They love contracts. They love trying to trap souls with their contracts. But what it does mean, because I have been in the hells, Crinvia has been in the hells, you have time to think on this. Do you wish to save this person? You have gone to the hells. You know us. You know Crinvia. Though you've already seen the tests that I brought forth, I was told of the girl that you brought back. That in itself tells you you could possibly save this person. So yes, I will say that this all falls on you, unfortunately. That peace was broken. You have to face it. Will you think about it and go into the future with this thought of maybe saving her? There is a little hope in that. But for tonight, I think that would be enough for tonight. And then as she says this is when you feel something. That soothing first energy at first hit his mind. Even with all the stress and everything, somehow a soothing energy tries to delve deep into his mind to actually soothe him. And for some time, he relaxes.
I want to back up just a little bit because I feel that when she relates to him, confers to him that it is likely that it was real, I think there was Gromthar would have a fit of rage. There would be a relapse, a tension, and an expression of that would be a horrifically, that's not a word, right? So
No, go ahead.
A roar, a release of that tension, the expression of that tension, of that frustration, and then as he's doing that roar, that is when perhaps this And I would envision Ishara just saying, yes, let it out, right?
Yeah.
And then, but then it would, that roar would come down as this feeling comes over him, this warmth of a mother. And his confusion changes from this frustration to, I had not sensed that yet from you. This motherly, was that you?
Ashara actually feels something. It's like, looks at you confused too. She, for the first time, you actually see her confused, and she looks around the room, and as she's doing this, Saz, you actually do hear Grumsar's roar because you're in the room there. I don't know if Saz would do anything. The other two, Cub and Grom, actually don't because they're in a different, something's happening there. But Saz, you do hear this scream. Whatever you do with that, it's up to you. But I will say that you do hear it. And then back to Ashara, she looks. No, I did sense something. There is something happening. I do not know what. There is some sort of divine power. And she actually moves her hands over you. They don't touch you, but she says they're wrapped, somehow attached to you. It is not of the hells. That is certain.
I'm sorry, you said the rot was attached to me?
Oh, no,
So
she said that it was attached to you, and
Okay.
it wasn't of the hells.
Okay.
And at this point, there would have been a little bit of time, but yeah, that's what she says, which throws her off. But it's not the type of power that I can relate to. It's maybe dangerous to me, actually.
And that surprises Gunflower a little bit. And this therapeutic state and this comforting sense of I haven't felt that since before I left the farm. As my mother, my own mother, was taking care of me. That sense of ever accepting comfort, unwavering.
And Shara says, yes, I sense it. I've not felt this. It's alien to me. Not an alien in the way that I know about divine energy, but this particular cynicshire, I've never felt it. I'm quite familiar with most of the pantheon's idea of the gods. And it says, it does quite have a motherly sense to it, doesn't it? It's Grumthar is actually feeling this. And then it changes and stops.
What happened? Where'd it go?
And it says, there is something happening. It's lingering with the opposite. She's the opposite of divine magic, divine essence, divine power. There's a battle happening.
And that kind of battle is his call to. He's already started. He was already raging, and he kind of. Is my assistance needed? Do I need to go to their aid? How can I help?
And she looks, says, and she stops, and she actually stands off the bed, and she will actually look over at Grumthar. Wait one moment. I'm trying. She's you don't know what she's looking at, but she looks to be like turn a whole 360 around the room, and then she closes her eyes, and she's trying to figure out where this thing is coming from.
While she's doing that, I imagine Grumthar standing there butt ass naked, grabbing his 2 weapons, readying himself for battle.
Yeah, so she's that's what she's trying to do right now. And as this is happening, we're also going to jump over really quickly over to Saz. Saz, you said you were in your room, right?
Yes.
Okay. So a little bit before the roar of what's going on here? I'm sorry, guys. 1 second. I don't know why the dog keeps scratching at my door really quick. I'll be right back.
He heard Grumthar's roar.
I guess you wanted in. All right.
Got some passionate makeout sessions there.
It was getting there, but we'll see. But Saz, before the whole roar happens, Saz, is there any particular thing that Saz would be doing in his room?
Absolutely. Apparently, Grumthar and Saz are not having 2 different evenings. Saz will have gone to his room, closed the door, and just straightened themselves up, taken a really long, deep breath, and then just went to trashing the entire room, just waving their tail around, throwing everything, throwing into a massive fit, and just hissing loudly and going, "This is insanity! We were supposed to be using them! They were supposed to be a protector! They're supposed to be a shield! They dragged us into the hells! They haven't listened to a single thing we said! This is a monstrosity! How are we supposed to survive if every day they drive us into another corner of insanity?"
And then, yes, he's how long do you think he would do this for?
It would be at least until he heard the scream. That would probably make them realize that they need to like straighten up and start putting on their facade again of acting normal, because that means there's a possibility someone could be coming their way.
I can see that. Throwing things around and then having a fit, and all of a sudden a roar happens, and Grumthar, he hears the roar of Grumthar and then straightens himself out. I imagine like a cartoon somewhere where this guy is throwing a fit, and then all of a sudden a roar, and he just like stops. They stop like mid throw of something. It's like their eyes just like pop around. And the roar subsides, and roll me a perception.
I rolled so good so far.
Okay, so that is... Oh, wait.
15.
15? Okay. So it was a 15. All right. So with that, you would be able to feel that when you sense a different presence. You, well, you wouldn't know if it's different. You just have some presence. You sense a presence. And for this one, I'm going to actually say you could also roll an insight.
Okay, Cub, I see what you were saying. That wasn't even on a number. I didn't know what the hell that just was. Okay, it's 11.
11? All right. Okay, if it was an 11, okay, so he would sense the presence, but he doesn't know what presence it is. But in his mind would quickly go back to the hells, somehow, almost dragged. I don't know if he would pick up on this because he rolled such a low insight, but he would it's almost like his mind is being steered back to memories as he was raging and they were screaming all these things out. They are suddenly back where they left the portal. He's back where Velithar was before they... I think Saz was the last person, right? They were the last person to leave?
Yes.
Yeah. So there was Velithar. And the words pop up in their mind again. If the well, I wrote them down, but anyway, you know what words. I think it was
more or less, if they were interested in the deal, they know how to get a hold of them.
Yes, wish I had it down here somewhere. But anyway, yes, that the words will linger and take form in their mind, and you hear a voice that says, I am always ready to collect on that. And then the voice would whisper away. And at that time, there's a knock at the door.
On their door?
Yeah.
It will take them a second because they'll have to realize that they didn't actually leave the room. They'll look around, see the room is more or less a mess, straighten themselves out a bit more because now they know someone's here, and just open the door enough so that they can be seen. What is it? What do you need?
And on the other side, you actually see Naxalia standing there at the door. And she thins her eyes and said, I'm just here in order to check on noises. I thought I heard a roar and some sort of battle happening. And it seemed to have been lingering around this room.
Clearly, you are mistaken. This one heard those noises coming from down the hall.
And she looks confused and it's kind of... She can't see through the crack in the door. It's like, oh, my apologies. I was just making sure that everyone was fine. We make sure that all our guests are well.
As you can see, there are no issues here. Now, as I said, check on the room down the hall. Bye.
She's like, nods. and before actually, this one is actually going to have to take... Ooh, what would he roll? Let's see. Give me 1 second here. I need to see something. Is this a skill or a save? That's one important detail I didn't write down. So I would say he would do this. So Saz would roll a... I guess it would fall under perception. Yeah, so roll me another perception check on this one. And then it would be versus...
Natural 20 for 23.
Okay, I'm not even going to roll on that one. All right. So, that's going to be pretty high. Well, it might still. No. Okay. So... As you're about to close the door, you do see her just kind of nod, and she turns. But you hear a voice, and it's a very confusing voice because it sounds like it's from her, but yet maybe almost like a double, two dual voices, almost in a way. And you hear something in the way of, you look like someone who won something and doesn't know how to feel about it. And then by that time he would have closed the door. But it's a strange set of words that he hears. But those words seem to linger on in his mind. But he was certain that he heard and saw where he was. Whatever Sauce does with that, what do you think he would do?
Based off of just hearing that, would it be appropriate to make the assumption that that's Corinthia talking to them?
I will say he could assume. Unfortunately, he would not know.
They oh my god, they've already seen so crazy already. They probably just stay in the room for a moment, check the corners to see if anyone was there, and go, Corinthia, my lady, is that you?
And silence replies. Absolutely nothing.
At this point, they probably check the door one more time, and assuming there's nothing there.
Yes. As they crack the door open, you actually see just shadow. Well, I guess he has dark vision, but they would just see shadow, and the hallway is completely empty.
Saz would literally just hiss and I have dealt with too much weirdness already. This one cannot take anymore.
And you
just
hear
curl up
multiple
in the middle of
voices
the
as
floor.
you say this. You hear multiple voices as Saz, behind Saz, almost like 5 different voices. Traitor! We're near. Soon. Very soon. And there's multiple voices just permeate around him. Does Saz keep looking at the door, or would he turn around?
Saz would instantly turn around.
As he turns around at the periphery, they see a enormous creature with 5 heads. But as they pretty much gaze the full view of the room, it seems to almost sweep away at their periphery, and then there's nothing there.
Alright, Saz definitely knows what this is. So, there'd be a moment of utter silence, and then they would literally claw at their face and just go, "Fuck!"
Silence is still greeting him there now. It's just they do this.
They're not sleeping now. I don't know what the hell they're going to do, but they can't sleep after that.
As they linger on for a little bit longer. It says, you hear a voice familiar from the hells. It says, when you're ready for deals, I'm always listening. And then wisps away. So multiple things happening to them.
They literally have no idea how to handle any of this. They would literally shut themselves inside their own mind and overthink this entire scenario, looking for any way out other than the obvious answer presented.
All right. So while this is happening, we're going to jump over to Tarnik. Well, maybe we're going to jump over to Tarnik.
Yeah, I'm here.
Let me see. Oh no, sorry. I was trying to get you. I would say. So you were. So here's what I'm going to say. He would have had about. He had gone to the. I'm trying to make sure the sync of the time is correct.
Yeah.
So it would have taken him. I think I said 40 minutes to get to the temple, and he would have stayed, talked to Vilra. So if the presence that he felt was still at the temple, I would say he would have stayed another, probably, he would have needed to stay another maybe 20 minutes. 20 to, no, he would have, okay, so one, talked.
He would have stayed for like at least an hour after the discussion.
Cool. Okay, then yes. If he stayed an hour after that, that's when he would have felt the. I'm gonna just use the. I'm such a visual person. I have to see where everything is. Right. I'm gonna shoot you over to the. There we go. So I know where you're at.
Yep.
All right. So you're here at the temple, and yes, as I said, we retcon. So it is actually morning time. So by this time for you, probably noon, getting close to noon, and you would feel this presence while you were in the temple. And if Tarnik understands that motherly sense and feeling as if a protection and divine energy that's trying to soothe him, he actually feels that tension push away, and it lingers for some time. His thought process while this is happening, though, I don't know what he would be thinking while this is actually happening.
Most of it would be the discussion that he just had with Valra.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's either, before, during, or after that discussion, but that's basically what's on the top of his mind.
I was about to play some epic music for you, and we were going to go into an epic battle out of nowhere. So, it stays maybe a couple minutes, maybe 3 minutes, and then eventually fades away, completely nothing. And then, trying to remember, was Tarnik the one that also took damage a while back?
Yes.
Okay. Then it switches. Very confusing. Stops for a while. Then suddenly, a sense of pressure, almost like mental pressure, pushes down on him, but thrashes throughout his body, and he is hurt. But then after that, it switches back into a different pulse. Not quite understanding it. He feels like there's the best that he could think of it is as if there's a switching of goodness and badness happening here in the simplest terms.
He feels it as his devotion to Ganosh slipping and his opening of his eyes to the rest of the world. So that's Ganosh reaching out, trying to hurt him and keep him still. And on that path that he feels is the completely the wrong path.
And because of that, eventually, it eases, and there's not much happening after that. It seems that somehow it fades for right now. And then all that is left is just where he was within the chamber, still alone.
So after a suitable amount of time alone there, he'd head up and leave a couple of gold in the donation thing. I'm guessing there's one there.
Yes, a tithing. People can leave their tithing stations. Tithing stations.
Yep. And then he'd head across the road to the Sad Dog Tavern, and rather quietly and politely organize a room.
Okay, so before he arrives, actually when he steps out of the temple, at the stairs as he's stepping down, and you see a child actually kind of throwing around sticks, plain sticks. It's a female, red-haired, very, very bright red hair, and just throwing sticks, playing with them. And she actually has a marble, and she'll also throw a marble. And as you step down and get to the lower ground finally, she looks up at you and is like, "Oh, hello."
Tonic's sort of looking at his own feet and doesn't notice her to begin with.
He says, "Where are you heading to?" She actually stands up if he's not noticing, but she probably at the periphery will notice her. She walks up right next to him.
Oh, you're talking to me, little girl?
And she smiles up at you. "Yes, I am." And you can see that she's around like maybe 11 or 12. And she looks up.
Aren't you scared of me?
"Oh, no."
Bad orc.
"No, I know mini orcs. Very nice people."
It's just adding to his confusion. He's sort of, what do you want, little one?
"Oh, nothing. I was just bored. But then I saw you. You look very interesting. Could I keep you company?" She smiles.
I'm not interesting. I'm tired.
"Oh, well, most people that come to the temple usually are tired." And she kind of kicks the ground, says, "What is tiring you?" And I don't know if he keeps walking or not, or if he's just standing there, but...
He's just sort of standing there in like a little bit of confusion still, like a little bit of a hazy cloud. Trying to work out why this little child is talking to him in the first place.
She's just looking up and smiling as she asks the question.
Down and go. Surely there are other kids around here for you to play with. It's a big city.
It's very big, but I like, you know, nicer people. And you look like one of them nice people.
First time I ever been called nice.
Says,
It was the ugliest, most guttural laugh you've ever heard.
and then she starts laughing too. It's like, "I love your laugh. It's a very nice laugh."
You are very strange, little one.
That's why they call me the strange kid by the stones. I'm always sitting at the stones. And she points over to the corner, and you see like a broken set of like ruins that seem like people are trying to fix. But I like sitting there in the mornings. It's very warm.
Okay.
And you notice as
That
people
seems
are
strange.
starting to walk by you, and as you're talking, they kind of just look at you, kind of strange, but then they keep walking.
Oh, yeah, he's not going to worry too much about the people looking at him strangely. He's sort of more looking at her going, you know, when I was growing up in your age, which was only, what, 10 years ago? If that.
Was it what? Yeah.
You know, we used to just go out into the woods and make our own fun. That's how you learned to survive. That's how you got stronger.
And she looks over. "Oh, well, that's what I was doing. I was sitting in the stairs and playing sticks and marbles." I like to do that because sometimes there's a lot of interesting people that come in and out of the temple. And then I see them. Sometimes they're sad, sometimes they're tired. And I like to talk to them. And I like to ask them what makes them tired or sad.
Well, if you must know, it's because I can only see. I can see many paths in front of me, but I can only see the results of one path and the outcomes of that path. I don't want to see.
Oh, you can see into the future?
Not really, but someone has given me glimpses.
He says, oh, I used to know one person that used to come here and go into the temple, and they always told me that no one really knows what's in the future. You can only think about the present. And sometimes the future makes us worry, and that worries are the worms of life. And they eat you while you're alive.
Thanks for that vision.
she kind of giggles, and she's like, just kind of looks at you and it's like, so where are you going? Can I come with you for a little bit?
I'm just going across here to the tavern. I want to get a room to... I'm tired. Like I said, I just want somewhere to sleep.
Okay, I'll go there to the tavern with you and keep you company until you arrive.
Okay. You can do that.
And she'll
I
follow.
still think you should run away with the children, though. This looks a bit weird.
And she'll follow along. And she kind of skips and hums to herself. It's like, walking with an orc, walking with an orc. She kind of just sings to herself. And as you walk through the streets and stuff, you pretty much pass through the morning crowd. And as you are passing through the morning crowd, you are aware that they notice you, but many of the eyes, you can roll me a perception.
What's that? 23. That's not bad.
A lot of gazes, you know that the gaze falls upon you, but not a single one has ever gazed upon her. They don't look at her. It's almost like if they're ignoring her or just not even paying attention to her. And she's around 11, 12, so she's not small. She's, normal height for a girl that age. Yeah. Eventually, you make it across the street, and she says, "It was very sad what happened to the owner, but I still talk to him every now and then." As you arrive at the door, and as he's going in, if he's placed notice to the door, he'll actually surprised if he looks back down or behind him, the girl's there no longer.
Okay. He looks around and he sort of calls out, "Thank you, little one. I enjoyed your company." And then he'll go inside and grab a room.
All right. Goes inside and grabs a room, and of course, he probably gives the same room he had last time. And we're going to jump over to that room, and we're going to put him in there. And the rooms all look the same, so nothing different in there. And as he begins to fall asleep, he's exhausted. The sense of floating almost pretty much just cradles him, and he starts drifting off into that sweet slumber. His eyes are just so tired and heavy. His lids just cannot stay open anymore. His armor, I would assume he removed his armor, but his armor laid on the side. And,
basically, when he normally would lay his armor on a stand, all nice and neat and even. But this time he's basically walked in, closed the door behind him, and started taking off the armor and dropping it as he walks towards the bed.
Nice. You can hear the echoing thump of it as the floor rings with it because it's hollow beneath from the bottom floor. But yes, after he sleeps and gets pushed into that sweet slumber, he eventually starts dozing off into... He will have visions. He seems to be watching, though. He's just a passerby in this place. He sees children, actually. Children that are human, elf, orc, even dark elf, all lingering around, playing games. He sees actual adults that are in the same type of race. The dark elves are humans and orcs, all talking, all enjoying and breaking bread together. Very confusing. Not sure what is going on here. And then his vision changes over to where he actually focuses on what seems to be this red-haired little girl walking around laughing. She's actually sitting by what seems to be a mother who just gave birth, and this mother is actually an orc, and this orc is crying loudly, and the mother very much comforting it. And it seems that the mother takes no notice of this red-haired girl, but the red-haired girl is also comforting the baby. The baby seems to calm for a while.
Tarnik smiles in his sleep as he witnesses the baby struggling, and he thinks to himself, it's a good strong orc, this one.
And as he's thinking to himself that this red-haired girl actually seems to look toward whatever direction this vision is happening, as if looking directly at Tarnik, and smiles. And then the vision changes again, and we see somewhere in a colorful forest, you can almost sense yourself walking through this, where there's leaves of various prismatic colors just falling on the ground. Very strange area here. You actually see, if Tarnik, I don't know if Tarnik is familiar, but he would see, if not, there would be like females that are detaching themselves from trees and walking around almost with bark-like skin, sometimes smooth, sometimes very bark.
I'm not sure whether they exist up north of Paradise.
So orcs would be he would probably know what they may be, possibly fae folk, because orcs are very weary of fae.
Yep.
Because of the fae mountains that are to the south of actually the path that they were in. But as you are seeing this, you start to see other critters floating about. You probably would recognize this also as maybe fae folk. Tiny humanoids fluttering around. Then you notice the area distort. It's almost as if the land just changed by itself, and then you see what looks to be veins in the ground. Veins that are all leading somewhere, that your vision just zooms, and as if you're being pushed like a fast forward scene past all these trees, and you see some sort of node of pure white light that eventually also buzzes really loud, and you hear this buzzing sound, and you can feel it in your ears, and it starts vibrating your teeth and tusk and your bones as you're sleeping. And then it changes colors, and you see it in various different prismatic colors. And as this happens, you can see almost like reality crack and fracture, and you see various, you see this, what you saw with all the humans, and dark elves and orc, but then you see another fracture. It's almost like you're seeing fractures of reality, like broken slits of a mirror, and each one has a different reality. In fact, one of them has a reality that you probably remember being back in the snow-covered land where you had seen this person. Her name was Valanthe, and you see her look back at you. But this time you see a different reality where you're in a different land with forests, and she's standing with you. And then you see a different reality where she is not there, but you see some creature almost with thorns out its back, or bones protruding, but it's black skin, large maw, and it forms into the person you might have met in this white snowed land. Her name was Luna. But then you see that it's fighting some sort of skeletal being. But then you see another where you see heroes. You don't know who these heroes are, but they seem to be battling. One of them is a lion, somewhere fighting. It seems that there's gold dragons everywhere, and this lion separates from the group and runs after some skeletal figure, but you see the lion fall dead. And this lion person, it's like a humanoid person, lion humanoid person, falls dead to the power of this skeletal figure. And then you see multiple other places where you see another group battling, where it seems to be some sort of magical engine, and they're fighting a colossus demon of colossal size. You see a skeletal dragon, the one that you probably, I do believe Tarnik saw, Scathix.
Yep.
And you see this group battling them, but you also see Krimbia there. And then everything goes to blackness as you are pushed away. But somehow, it doesn't bother Tarnik. It actually sort of alleviates some of his tension. He doesn't realize it by having awareness, but he is sleeping. And his body, though he can't physically feel it because he's not awake, he's asleep, he feels, in a sense, deep down in his consciousness, a release of something. Though they might be paths, for some unknown reason, he feels like somewhere in there, deep down little hint, it might be correct, wherever he is where he needs to be. And then, with that, we're going to go over to Mr. Narzag. So Narzag, you were in your room with your bear, because you said you were going to go to the Sag Dog Tavern. So I figured you're near, probably right next door to Tarnik without you even knowing. You would have been at the tavern, since you would have probably correct timing. I say he would have been at the temple, then you would have probably arrived first and gotten the room. And before anything else happens, what would he just be sleeping, or would he be doing anything else?
Well, he'll be sleeping, so I can replace the bird with Midnight. Get my bear back.
Awesome. Yeah, so he's sleeping. We say before Mr. Midnight comes back, we're going to go through this first. And as he's sleeping, he's also having a nice slumber, relaxing. He does have the his mind just plays back the pieces of everything that had happened in the past 2 days, which was only 6 minutes in this world, but when by the time he returned,
there's a smile on him because we killed devils in hell and they can't come back.
he's enjoying the internal destruction of the devils that will never come back, and he feels very accomplished. Finally, he destroyed devils in the actual 9 hells, and as this is happening, because he's very happy at this, smiling, and this dream starts to take form, and you you're worshiping Ishwal, but you're worshiping Zotia, right? Or who was it that you were worshiping? I forgot. You were worshiping. Oh my god.
Millie, which is an orc in Milithara.
Yeah. Okay. I don't know why you were. I was thinking Zotia. Let me see here. Oh,
Beast
okay, that's
barbarians.
right. Okay, that's what I wrote down. Ooh, this is very interesting. All right, so for you are also dreaming. You fall into this deep slumber, and then this would be actually familiar to Narzag because he follows Millie, and Millie usually appears as a large wolf. She actually stays in that form current. And you would awaken in this dreamland in a forest. It's a deep forest with 100-foot trees, and you can see that there are actually fae folk, the fairy folk, flying about you, pixies. And a lot of them actually flutter near to Narzak, and one of them would also kind of linger around his face. Does Narzak allow this, or?
Sure, he lived in the woods mostly and was trained by an elven druid, so sure.
As this is...
Hello, little one.
And you hear like almost like a bell-like giggle. All of them all of a sudden just giggle out like it's a domino effect, and they all flutter around you. And 2 of them, as they usually do, they have this for some unknown reason. 2 of them always sit on shoulders, and one sits on your left shoulder and the other one sits on the right. And as this happens, you see the other group flying above you, and then finally around eye level they start waving at you as to follow, and they start lingering deeper into the trees.
He follows with his instincts of a ranger.
With the instincts of a ranger, you go through the trees, and they actually open up almost like curtains, and then they close behind him as he keeps going deeper and deeper into this forest. And eventually, traveling for some time, you start to feel that they also start to become more aware and cautious as they keep flying. Strangely enough, though you've seen this forest before, you begin to see a different image as the forest opens up like a veil, and off in the distance you see a large crack in the ground filled with black dead grass and other various flowers that have all turned black, with this strange disease that seems that is fighting with the forest. The forest seems to be trying to fight back. You see this dark disease, almost like blood, ink, crawling over roots of trees, and then you see some glow, faint energy almost fighting back. And strangely enough, there seems to be a large wolf that you would recognize as Millie, as there is a creature, a large creature, almost seems like maybe you're not quite sure what it is. It's maybe a combination of maybe lizard, maybe something else, but it has almost like not like spider-like eyes, but maybe 2 eyes, and his forehead, his mouth seems to not be exactly the shape of a maw, though it is. It seems to part almost like four ways instead of like a normal maw would, and it's almost serpentine, but yet not. It's a large black-looking snake-like creature. That's the best that you could see. But you see that Millie's actually sitting next to it. And you see that there is a group of other fairy folk flying and leading it. And you can hear a voice explaining about what is happening here. Explaining that some sort of disease is pretty much taken over, and that it has to do with whatever is lingering within the crack of this large area. But at that time, you also would notice that there is some sort of portal that appears. As this portal appears, you see some figure you've never seen. It has long hair, and it steps through, and then behind it is a skull-like figure. This figure is lingering there as this long-haired figure is opening up the crack, digging further and further until there is another type of black-like skin, this time lingering with some sort of purplish-like veins that are very dim. They're not very bright, but it starts...
Question to you.
Yes.
Do I have any of my arrows on me?
Unfortunately, you do not. It's more of you kind of, you know that you're there in body, but you don't necessarily have... It's more of a consciousness that you sense yourself being here.
So, can I try to cast a spell?
You certainly can. Try.
I will cast Trudcraft and make flowers bloom at my feet.
Okay.
Waste an action.
So you make flowers bloom at your feet.
Yeah.
Okay. So the flowers do bloom at your feet. Seems that your mind sort of understands this. But does you do anything else?
I will. This creature. Is it undead?
To
or
you,
does this skeleton creature seem undead?
Well, the skeleton creature definitely seems undead because there's a skull face. It's piercing red glows in the eyes.
My second action is undead, my favorite enemy. I will cast Hunter's Mark on it.
Okay. So you cast Hunter's Mark on it. It doesn't seem to...
Out of character?
Yeah, it doesn't do very much.
I do know he's what he is, but my character does not know that.
For sure. Well, you do see that as you're doing all this, the second one, the one with the long hair, and he does also seem undead, kind of white pale skin with wraps around him, opens up this crater, and there is another set of that skin that I mentioned. They actually ripped the skin and this enormously large bones underneath of it that they crack open, and they seem to pull some sort of item from it. It seems like possibly a broken piece of something. You're not quite sure. And this person, you see him from off the distance. The skull grabs it, seems to almost cackle at it, and then they disappear and disperse. And at this point, you are pretty much surrounded by the darkness and pushed away. And then you disappear.
Oh, I was going to attack it, but oh well. Undead, kill it!
But yes, you are comfy and asleep. And I think at this time is when you would probably... You were the one also who felt the presence of the...
Milithara.
Yeah, Milithara. To you, Milithara. That comforting presence and healing presence that actually makes you feel very relaxed, and you're not aware of it because you're asleep, but in your sleep,
Right.
you're taking some really good sleep time right now. And I think you passed...
Drinking all those glasses of holy water was worth it.
Yes. And I think you also passed your constitution, right? So you didn't get damaged.
Yes.
All right. So with that, we're going to go ahead. And let me see how I'm going to do this one. So we're actually going to jump back to... Okay, this is between Grumthar and the two. Between Cub, Grom, and Grumthar. Let me see here. Let me jump back to Grumthar really quick. With Grumthar, while... Oh, we're jumping in here. While... What the heck happened? Why isn't it changing? Okay.
I see it.
Yeah, it wasn't changing on mine for the stream for some reason. So yeah, Ashara was looking about. You were just standing there at the ready. I just want to make sure, was Grumthar planning to do anything else before we jump back to Cub and Grom?
Well, we were just kind of in the confusion, right?
Yeah.
We were sensing something, and so she was scanning the room, and I grabbed my weapons just at the ready. So that's where we left off. That's all I know.
Okay. So he was just at the ready, but he wasn't actually going to do, like, go out the room or anything. He's just at the ready. Because Ashara is just going to linger there and try to figure out if she can pinpoint it. Okay, so I'm just making sure. Just making sure. All right.
That's what he's doing.
Because this will probably... Why isn't it... Okay, what happens if I ping everybody? It's not switching yet? Okay, well, let's do this. There we go. We're going to jump back over to you guys. Cub and Grom. And then...
Yes.
You cast your spell.
Yes, my greater restoration.
So...
And as I do that, mentally, I do that, and then I start preparing to run away.
Okay. As you cast this, Grom, you also saw what was happening with the divine power and the emanation coming from Cub. You see that Cub probably is not noticing this in the physical world, but he's profusely sweating, and you can actually see that there is blood starting to trickle down his nose. So whatever he's casting is probably... You could probably understand it's happening within the mind. So, depending on what Grom sees, he sees this blood trickling down Cub. You see his body almost starting to... He's kneeling, but it seems like it's starting to slump over. But you also know that your music is doing something. So, to Grom, it's a decision between keep playing or would he want to try to do something for Cub?
Let's see here. I think that would it be possible to determine, like maybe with a medical check or something, if there's like damage being done to Cub, or if, you know, if this is like Grom doesn't really know what's going on. I feel like try to kind of scan for more information, just a little bit.
I would say yes. Go ahead and roll me a medicine check and let me know what you get.
All right. I got an 11.
Unfortunately, he would not be able to decipher anything else from what he knows that I just said.
So, here's the thing. I think that Grom. I mean, Cub looks like he might be slumping over, but like, is he like literally passing out, or is he just looking a little fatigued and like sitting back? You know.
From what Grom, I would say, from everything that he sees, you know that he's bleeding from the nose. He looks like he's starting. Yes, he's starting to slump over. You know that his hands are on silent. And in the angle that he looks like he's about to slump over, which would be falling to his right, away from the wall, he might technically, yes, fall over into the floor. That's what the best I could say by, yes, logic.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, at this point, Grom hasn't really seen. All right, I'm gonna run down a little list here of things. Grom hasn't really seen any direct evidence that his music is doing anything important. He does see the Cub might fall over a little bit. I think that Grom is going to stop playing and he's gonna kneel down beside Cub, and he's gonna kind of put his hands on his shoulders and be like, "Cub,
Okay.
are you
Before that
okay?"
happens, as soon as you stop playing, Cub, I want you to roll me with a disadvantage. I need you to roll me a wisdom check.
Wisdom check
Wisdom save, and let me know what you roll.
with disadvantage.
Yes, on this one.
Yeah. Oh, 18.
Oh, wow, okay. 18.
Level 18.
Okay, so with an
Yay.
18, in your mind, you still feel, at least to your physical body, something attached to you, as there is something happening out there in the world. So you release this energy and divine power. You can see a distortion of the image around you as something sweeps over this land and actually cocoons around this beast emerging from the land itself. It starts off as roots, green, very lush roots and leaves and grass, and then it turns into pure divine energy, wrapping, cocooning this creature as it roars. But then suddenly something stops, and it seems to almost pause, and it lingers halfway up its chest, and it's starting to really get angry and break. But anyway, from that we're going to jump back to Grom. Grom, as Cub is falling, what are you doing?
He's going to try to catch Cub, and he's going to, whisper, "Are you okay, Cub? Is everything all right?"
On Cub, you hear absolutely nothing.
So as I
What is
see
it?
that,
Yeah.
so I see that the roots are entrapping the monster, right?
Yes.
So knowing that, I'm gonna go ahead and do it one more time. Provide another greater restoration.
Okay, as you are going to do that, I need one question for Grom. When you just told me you grabbed Cub, can you describe how you grabbed Cub?
Yeah, like you would grab someone who you think is gonna like slump over, like to just hold them up.
Okay,
like,
so he's holding him up, so his hands are still on silent then. Okay, so if he's holding him up, because he doesn't let him slump over or anything, he just holds him up.
yeah, he would be trying to hold him up so he doesn't fall down,
Okay.
basically.
Excellent. All right, well then in that case, Cub, you cast this, and as you cast this, Grom, you would also sense something happening as you see more divine energy fill over Silent, and she takes another breath. And Cub, you see this energy just push forward and completely cocoon this creature. As it cocoons this creature, you feel the angry roar of it as it vanishes and disperses into what seems like a dust of divine and also necrotic energy. And then it rains down on the ground. And when it does this, you are then pulled back almost like a rubber band. You jump and startle, opening your eyes, and you feel yourself being held by Grom, who is next to you. And by this time, Grom, as you are seeing all this, you would see that Silent actually becomes even more relaxed. Breathes, almost not quite a smile, but her lips seem to give more of a eased look and feel to her face. More of a serene feel to her face. As you can almost see again a flash of energy that makes you ask, did that really happen? And then you see Cub open his eyes. So there you are. The floor is
as I being like mentally being spirit or like being rubber band shot back into my body, like as an aspiration of like astral projection. As soon as I open my eyes, I do a long gasp of air, like I've forgotten to breathe for a second, or for that moment of my meditation of healing her. And I'm just going.
And Grom, you see all this too.
Okay. Grom is going to. I mean, he's gonna ask Cub again. Cub, are you okay? Do you need healing?
Like, no. Fine. Just lost the breath. Felt like my body wasn't. I felt like my soul wasn't here. Why am I bleeding from my nose?
I think so. Grom doesn't really know about any of this. All he knows is that he was sitting here with Silent, and I think Grom would think that he's just tired.
Well,
So
Grom
Grom's
would have
like-
noticed his nose bleed, though. That's the one he was noticing. So.
Yeah, I think that. Am I breaking up, or can you guys still hear me?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we can.
We can hear you.
Oh, okay. I think that he would just like kind of take his sleeve and wipe the blood off Cub's nose, and he'd be like, "You are very weird, like all of us. Maybe you need a rest. Let me take over."
It's like, no, it's fine. I'm just physically she's fine, but mentally, that was what I was trying to. I guess I somehow managed to heal, and it must have sapped me inside of her, or so. And it's like, but I have at least managed to mend her wounds in her mind.
And as you say that, Grom and Cub, you would see that there is some sort of aura now that emanates as she's sleeping. An aura that seems to grow from her. But then, for Grom, you actually do feel this sense of alleviation, and the exhaustion that he's feeling actually subsides as this aura grows. And then, even with Saz, as he's panicking in the room, and everybody else, without having to roll, you feel this power just encase everyone. And it is alleviating any exhaustion actually seems to dim. I mean, the memory and the ideas are still there, but the actual physical and some of the mental exhaustion, with the memory still lingering and everything that happened, is still there, but you are somehow alleviated. And everyone actually can take a long rest with this. Your body has rested, but if y'all still feel like sleeping, you can, of course. But your body has that rejuvenation of rest. And no one knows what's happening. And also with Grumthar, Ashara is like, there it is again. What is that? Excuse me one moment, Grumthar. My apologies. She's actually going to step outside the door and close it behind, unless he does anything else, but that's what she's doing.
No, he'll open the door after, because he doesn't know what's going on. There could be a threat, so he steps out there behind her. Again, he's butt-ass naked, has his two swords.
And yeah, she just kind of steps out and lingers in the room here and is looking back and forth. She's like, what is that? I should probably inform Crinvia, though she more than likely knows or feels what's going on. This is her domain.
Wait just 30 seconds, and I'll go throw my breeches on, and then I'll follow her.
Okay. And so, yes, Narsag and Tarnik, if y'all want to, y'all can go ahead and also get a long rest. By this time, you're asleep, so y'all probably don't feel it as much. But Saz, they would probably feel it, depending, because what that would do to their mental state or not, their paranoia that's currently happening right now. But they do feel this essence just swarm over them, and it's almost like a blanket of comfort come over them. And this, what if there's an exhaustion of not the literal exhaustion, but an exhaustion of mind and all that would actually be alleviated to a certain point.
If they really did feel that, they would instantly know something is wrong, because that should not have happened, and run out the room to see what happened.
As you run out the room, as you do that, you would see Ashara. I guess, as I'll say, maybe Grumthar is still here, just right at the corner, and you would run out of the room. Grumthar, you would see Saz as she is walking up the hallway. But yes, y'all see each other as she's moving down the hallway. If y'all wants to converse or do anything, the floor is yours right now.
What is going on? Ashara says she senses something, and we're going to talk to Crinvia.
I guess she moves past Saz.
Join
Felt
us if
this.
you... Go ahead.
I felt this strange feeling. Something unnatural. This one knew something was wrong. Instantly. I'll follow your lead.
There seems to be a lot of that going on. I think I've lost visual.
Oh, did you lose visual? Let me see.
I see only blackness on the screen.
Oh, there it is. I found it. I had to zoom out and
Zoom
back
out.
in.
Oh, that might be it.
Huh, how weird. Always.
Yeah,
always
I don't know where you
strange-
went.
Oh, over here.
There we go. I see it now.
I'll move y'all.
Yeah, I went to the T.
I'll move
Yeah,
you.
go ahead, move.
I'll move
Okay.
you over here.
All right.
Yeah, yeah. She's going to these stairs right here.
Sure.
Going up the stairs. So we're gonna say they're going up the stairs. Narzak and Tarnik are asleep right now, though they're probably having a nice sleep. As far as Cub and Grom, we'll jump back to you guys as they're moving upstairs. But Silent seems to just go into a nice a side position. She wraps the blanket a little bit closer, and she actually seems to breathe a sigh of relief and is deep in sleep now.
Brahm is going to look over at Cub, and he's not really gonna say anything at the moment, but he is going to think to himself. He's gonna think to himself that he's gonna be like, he's gonna kind of be in a moment of disbelief that he is in this situation. He thinks that Tarnik is the greatest orc, the greatest warrior. But then now he's looking at Cub and he's like thinking, oh my god. Like he's got this newfound, I think, respect for Cub as a healer. Cub could literally reach into her mind and heal things, and Grom doesn't even know what he's talking about. So I think he's just gonna put a hand on Cub's shoulder and be like, Cub, you are a master of your craft. Much respect, my friend.
I look at Grom and is like, who's the worst healer now, huh?
Grom is gonna chuckle a little bit, looking a little creepy while he chuckles. In fact, I have a picture of Grom. I'll drop it in the chat when he looks creepy while he's laughing. There we go.
He's like, that's a laugh.
That's a heck of a laugh. Oh my god.
But anyway. Gonna laugh very creepily, and then he's just gonna slap Cub on the shoulder, and he's gonna put away his viol, and well, actually, no, since he's had a full rest, he's just gonna walk back to the outside of the room, and he's just gonna get his viol back out and keep playing.
All right.
He's very happy, I feel like.
Yeah. Cub, you actually, because of that, you actually are rested again. You all feel pretty much rested and stuff. I mean, y'all can still sleep if y'all want to, but yeah, y'all feel pretty rested. So here's what we're going to do. Is there anything else specific that Cub and Grom would want to do at this point? Because what I'm going to actually try to do is fast track so we can catch everybody up to the same sync and jump over to probably the last one be Gromsar and Saz.
No, Grom is just going to play the viol until, basically until someone comes and gets him and says it's time to go on a mission, pretty much.
Excellent.
And
then,
it's like, as for me, I'm like, everything I did, man, takes that out of me. But somehow I feel very, very rejuvenated. I think Silent's gonna be okay from here on out, Grom. But you don't mind if I stay here next to her? I'm gonna work on my potions.
Grom would say, I would like that very much. Then he's just going to start playing his viol.
Yeah.
All right. Excellent.
Yeah.
So we're going to jump over.
I'll move over here so I can start working on start making some more potions since we're already out.
All right. So we're going to jump over to Grumsar and Sans as they actually walk up and follow her up to the floor what Crimvia would be, and once you arrive there, she actually waits in the room. Let's go ahead and move over here so I can see where I'm going. I'll paste y'all here. Boom. We don't. There's copies. Oh, she's actually no there, but anyway, at that point, as y'all actually move up and go up the stairs, you actually do see in this great room here, the room, the entryway, a young, almost maybe 7 or 8 year old girl, black hair, and she seems to be playing with dolls. And she looks up and she's like. Looks at first thing she looks at is Saz, but then she looks at Ashara. It's like, oh hi, Aunt Ashara. Are you looking for Mom? And whoa, Grumthar disappeared.
I had 2 of them,
Uh-oh.
so I got rid of one. I have one there now.
I think you might have deleted the real one and you kept the mirror image.
Oh, I don't know why I had a mirror image.
I don't know. It does that weird. It does that to me too. I don't know why it does that. We'll put you back in here. Boom.
Okay.
You can refresh. If you refresh, it should show you the real one.
Okay.
Yeah, it does that weirdness sometimes for some reason. Which I don't know why.
Okay.
And then Shara says, yes, I wish to speak with her. I think there's something going on. And she okay, and she runs and opens this door and just kind of fast pedals. And you see the large living room or dining room area and stuff, and she rushes to another door. And after about 2 minutes of waiting, Crinvia finally appears, and she's actually fully dressed compared to how she usually walks around up here, but dressed in her human form, completely brown hair, reddish brown hair, black cloak. She's actually dressed in a almost like earth tone blue dress. And she looks at the group and says, "Oh, Ashara, Grumthar, and Saz." And she looks, and Ashara looks over. Did you sense that? There is something strange happening. A pulsation of... I can't quite pinpoint it. And you see her smile and says, I think that has to do something with the girl that you brought back. I'm assuming that from at least everything that I have been listening to, the Hells. And she looks over at Grumthar. You were successful.
We dragged the young elf from the depths of hell and brought her back. That was the mission we were tasked with.
And she walks over and looks at Grumthar and says, that is a large part of the puzzle now. A puzzle that has been missing for quite some time. I'm familiar with that signature. It seems something great may be returning back to Solaire. And all this time it may have been hidden within a young elf child. This might be quite helpful. It's interesting how all the puzzles of the great elder tree may be fitting and repeating history once more. And she actually smiles at Grumthar. Grumthar, you and your team might have actually swung the pendulum of this war with this withered one back to our favor.
It came with a price.
As all good things that are important in the world should. Unfortunately, those may be very painful. However, who can weigh what one soul may mean to millions and millions of others?
Grom is attached, and Cub are attached to this young elf. How do we harness this to defeat the Withered One, continue our cause?
And she looks over at Shara, looks over at Saz, and then looks back at Grumthar and says, you are all very powerful. 9 hells and back. As soon as you walked in, I was able to read it, to understand it. And I assume with everything that I equipped Grom with, he used it very wisely. You are already doing what needs to be done. You might not understand this, but from what I felt, that young elf is going to be very, very powerful against all the plans that Anam wishes to unleash in Solaire. So the best way to harness it is by protecting it. Do not let her out of your sight. If need be, guide her. Teach her how to protect herself even. Though I very much assume that whatever happened to her in the hells that she suffered through, she may have some sort of experience now. Sometimes to do use souls in different ways, forcing them to fight, forcing them to survive.
Contemplating our next action between Ashkavar's cut and the prismatic forest, the elder tree and such. I was leaning toward the prismatic forest as our next, assuming Cub could get this artifact. Do we dare take her on these quests with us, or should we stay and fortify a position to stay protected? How do we protect her and further our cause?
She says, no matter what happens now, once the signature is found, once it's sensed, though I very much doubt anything outside of this has been sensed, my domain is very protected. There is no protecting her. Even forces beyond Anam will sense it. But I do believe there is one thing that we'll know of her return. As balance. All of it must be balanced. The negative and the positive. There is a sense of equilibrium right now with her return. So, take her with you. It doesn't matter if you leave her behind. You could leave her here. But things will come to find her. And I think you are all a group that is powerful enough to protect her. I see her as a resource. Grom and Cub may see her as somebody to care for. This will allow them to fight harder for her. Maybe eventually, this group will learn to care for her. I once learned to do that myself with humans that I used to see as nothing but things to devour. Elves and dwarves. But I changed. If I can change, maybe we all can. Who knows? But yes, that is my advice. Keep her with you. Train her if need be. She is going to be a very powerful weapon that you will need.
How do we harness this resource? How do we train her to be her, to meet her potential? What do we know that could possibly help her?
Time. By natural time, she will come to know her own powers, but for now, in the mortal world, train her as a mortal would train another. She seems to have some sort of quality. She, from what I understand, died somewhere fighting with the group before.
Yes.
But that's before the group knew what she was. She is a divine power. Eventually, in time, it will awaken, and we will need it.
Very well. I hear she's a great power, requires time to develop, and that we should take her and protect her, harness her, use her, let her aid us in our endeavors.
Yes, and with that she will gain experience. Grumthar, I am not lying when I say that your team has very well changed the pendulum of this war.
How do I convince my team of that?
Well, you don't need to convince Grom and Cub. She smiles at you.
Yes. So, it would be, if I have my way, we would be heading toward the prismatic forest.
Well, I would say usually, yes, Cub was one of the people that I would suggest needed to maybe handle such things over there. I think he's the only one that knows Divine. powers, at least from the signatures I'm reading was in my tavern. But now you got a power that you can actually use. Maybe Cub should speak with her. But yes, I will handle Ashkavar's cut if need be. I would have sent you there, but it seems an urgent matter has come up with the return of this elf. Now you have possession of something that might actually be worthy in the prismatic forest.
I don't like the uncertainty of taking her there, that she might be a powerful. She may not be convinced that she is able to be what we need her to be, what she needs to be to accomplish our goals at the prismatic forest.
And Crimya actually smirks at you and then smiles and says, Grumthar, nothing in this life is ever certain. This is why the greatest risks we take in order for our greatest achievements are worthy in the end outcome.
Of course. Big
Grumthar, I know that you
sigh,
understand that you don't.
As I wonder if I can convince my team.
And says,
Go ahead.
Oh no, she lets you finish.
Yeah. I'm just hoping I convince my team that she is all we need.
Says, I wouldn't say that she is all you need, but she is a great resource that
she is
the
she is the resource we were looking for to enter this forest with the hope of accomplishing our goals. Nothing further is needed, is what I'm hearing you say. Us and her should be enough.
And she says, yes. She will be enough with you helping her. Cub might need to help her some. He will not be awakening what she truly is, but she can discipline her enough to use certain powers. The resources there is raw. With Cub at her side, Cub should be able to actually harness it himself. And she has enough power to disrupt whatever corruption Anum may use. And she'll wink over at him. I'm pretty sure that the Talismanic Nine would have given you this information.
When it's time, how do we get to the prismatic forest?
When it's time, just let me know. I've traveled to the edges of it. I know a location.
Very well. Zaz, I trust you will be able to help me relay this information and convince the team that we have what we need.
Crimdia disappears and Ashara just keeps looking around. Well, if the queen is at ease with whatever was happening. But she looks over at Saz too. Does Saz respond?
Oh, before she walks off.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I would, at the very minimum, put my hand on her shoulder as a symbol of affection and appreciation for her services.
Okay, so Ashara, yes. Okay.
Yeah.
And she says, of course. If I will return to the room if you wish.
I think I am sated for this evening, for this day.
And she will smile.
I'll let you know when I require your services again. Much respect and thanks.
Of course. I wish I could have helped more, but I think it's a process. She smiles and then she'll turn back and go down the stairs.
Saz, let's find Grom and Cub. I think that's probably good enough for tonight.
Yeah. Excellent. I'm going to go ahead. Yeah, so it is 10 o'clock. So let's see here. Let's go ahead and, well, if I can find where the off button is, we can say goodbye to the world.
Bye.
Goodbye,
Goodbye,
world.
world.
Thank you for watching, and then for the future viewers, we'll see you again next Sunday. Goodbye.
I was here. Bye-bye.
Oh,